Redstone repeaters. They're probably the second most useful thing in terms of redstone when making redstone builds. And today I'll be showing you the ultimate guide for repeaters or redstone repeaters, like I did over there with redstone dust. This is just, I think, the second or third part in my series of ultimate guides, because I don't know, I didn't really have any other video ideas. And what we want to learn first is pretty much the main use of it for survival, I guess. The main use for redstone contraptions are the delays, but this is the main use. Redstone dust goes 15 blocks and then it stops. On the 15th block, there's no power, but there's power there because it's up to 15. But redstone repeaters will renew that signal and go for another 15 blocks. So as you see here, on and then on again, and this is on and not on, it's obvious. And they also hard power blocks, but I'll get to that later. Another important thing is, unlike redstone dust, they don't power that block. So if there was redstone dust here, all of them would be powered. Repeaters, they're not powered, and it's a little annoying, but that also means they hard power this block. So this block would be hard powered. When I flick the switch on, everything will go, and it's all nice and quick. And you can grab redstone signals out of that, but I'll show you that later. Except if there's a half block. Glass or slabs or leaves or anything like that won't do it. So if we turn this on, that won't. None of those power. No matter how many times, they're not going to turn on. And for redstone builds, that is, they have delays. So you'll see the two little torches there and how they're lined up in different positions. You've got 4 positions, pretty much the basic 1 tick delay. I think 1 tick is 1/10 of a second. 2 ticks, so that's 2/10 of a second, 3 and 4. And what I'll show you here is they do this. They turn off all in a line like that, pretty much, and then they turn on. So this one's the fastest because it's just hooked up straight to redstone. Then it's this one, this one, this one, and then lastly this one. And that's the thing. Sorry about that. That's the same for turning off as well. So they'll all turn off in a line. That's instant. That's 1 tick delay, 2 ticks, 3 ticks, and 4 ticks. And that's the exact same for an observer. When you do that, they'll all power. But a redstone repeater, if I show you this again, it will actually change the pulse of the observer. This shoots out a 1 tick pulse. So that turns on for 1 tick. But then when we get to the repeater, that'll turn on for 1 or 2 ticks. This will turn on for 2 ticks. Actually, that might be 1 tick, and maybe that's 0 ticks. I don't know. But then it changes this length, so this will be on for 3 ticks, and this will be on for 4 ticks. And when I remove it, see, they stay on for a little longer. Next up is how to power them. They don't work backwards, so when I flick this on and off, that won't power because the repeater's turned around, but this will. So sorry about the texture pack, it does look different in normal Minecraft, but as you can see, the repeater that's set to no ticks and has them both together, that's the direction it goes in, not that direction. And how to activate them, when I turn this lever on, this one will go because it's drawing power out of that block. This one will turn on because it's drawing power out of the switch. This won't turn on because there's really nothing there. It kind of needs to be on the same, if I can bring this up, on the same level as a repeater, and unfortunately that doesn't work. That would be pretty cool if it did, but yeah, it needs to be, actually let me show you in a normal block that doesn't turn on. The block that's being powered would need to be here for this repeater to go, and unlike redstone dust, this repeater doesn't draw power from above. If we have redstone dust there, it would, but unfortunately repeaters don't. Up next is sort of a debatable thing. In bedrock redstone, people say it's inconsistent, but that's only because for timings in terms of ticks like repeaters, you kind of need to space them out a little more. In Java Edition, if we set that to like that, I think, that would, so the extension works, but then the retraction, it doesn't work because the timing's a bit too close together for bedrock. Instead, you have to space them out a little more, and this is what that one should have done, but that one does it in Java. And then if we do this, pretty much it's inconsistent because they're both on the same timings. Now, if we space it out like that, this one is always going to go first. If we space it out like this, I'm pretty sure that one's still always going to go first. But then if we change it to that, it can be a little inconsistent, but it's not showing me here. But pretty much that one doesn't extend like that because the timings are too close together and a bit too slow, is what I'm saying. Next up is the sort of the directional powering of repeaters and how it connects to redstone dust. So first of all, if you have a repeater, a block, and redstone dust, it'll work. Or redstone dust, block, repeater, that'll work too. So those turn on and off. And these turn on and off as well. But if you have a line of redstone dust that sort of goes across the block like that, it's not gonna power any repeater. But weirdly, if you have a repeater directionally going into a block with a line of redstone dust, it is going to power that line of redstone dust. So if you have the dust before the block, the repeater's not going to turn on. But if you have the repeater before the block, the redstone dust is going to turn on and off like that. And another example of the directional thing is this light lights up, but because the repeater doesn't go downwards or sideways or anything like that, when you flick the switch, these aren't going to turn on, I guess, and they're not going to turn on below. And you can sort of string them along like this. This is just a good example, and string them along and still have different timings like that. And it doesn't need to be ascending order, or ascending order, that's what it is. It can be any timing for the repeater. And I think other than these, that's it for the directional part. Also, if you run them along pistons, the pistons are still gonna, the redstone repeaters aren't gonna break or anything like I think they do in Java, even though, as you see, they overhang a little bit. But they're not gonna power the pistons like this, where redstone would power these pistons like that. The last thing I think everyone should know about repeaters is, for redstone, they can go up and down a line like that if it's on glass. Repeaters, even if it's solid blocks or glass, it isn't going to work. So you could obviously take a signal out of that block. If I can get redstone, there we go. But on glass, it doesn't work, and on normal blocks it doesn't work because repeaters can't actually go through them. See, this one is powering this one, but there's nothing up here to power it. And if we turned that on like that, see, that would be powered, but again, there's nothing behind this repeater to power it. They can also be used to make clocks, but I'll probably get to that in my ultimate guide to clocks, because that's another video idea I have. So I hope you enjoy, and I hope you learned something, and there'll be more, hopefully.